just realised this is StreamYard, and I don't know what StreamYard is. What is StreamYard? I'm so squished I'm all over the place. This is like my interview with Sebastian Bach the other day, and we couldn't get a connection. And he was losing his mind, Sebastian was. And he had his face up there. I can't find what's going on. I can't see what the hell's going on. I love Sebastian, but it's modern technology. Yeah. Hello, Kenny. Hello, Crash.
Hi.
Great to see you. Great to see you.
Modern technology is changing us all.
Oh, Lord.
Just crazy.
Isn't it, though?
Who knew? As I enter my seventh, as I'm about to slowly filter merrily down the stream into my 7th decade, I'm having to Zoom. Guys. I'm zooming. I'm zooming and StreamYarding and what have you. Anyway.
Well, brother, thank you for doing this, man. It's
a pleasure. I really wish I could be with you guys in person.
Hey, we get it. None of us are safe being together. It's all good.
We have so much fun when I come by to your studio down the street. And now it's all virtual. It's virtual hugs, virtual hugging.
Yeah, right.
And all that kind of stuff, you know.
Hey, Christy, or Crasher, is Henley in there?
No. She not with you?
Hey, Henley, Rob wants to say hello. Remember that? I think she was 4 years old.
Oh my God! What
now
time
she's
is
6.5.
Oh no! It's just beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful. Is she still a headbanger?
Yeah, I think she's got her priest shirt on. Henley, where are you, baby?
Her playlist stream goes from Neil Diamond to Judas Priest to Lady Gaga to
Quiet Riot, Twisted Sister.
Who sings that beer song? She loves that beer run song. It's just so random. It's so random.
You see, that is so great. That is so great. That is so great because she's no different to when I was a kid. You know, I listened to all kinds of music because that's what music is for. You know, you just don't stay in the same place. It's like you know, open your blinkers and love it all, enjoy it all. And I'm so happy that she's doing that. Kids are amazing. Adults can learn so much from children in their like. Give me more candy. I want more candy. You know, that kind of
stuff. Now, we're just going to segue, Rob. Why not? Rob Halford, the book is called Confess. And I don't know if you broke the news on the Freaks a year or two ago that, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm writing a book. It's like, holy crap. You're writing
I did on the Freak Show. I'm pretty sure we had an exclusive moment there. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, beautiful.
Now, I see where your love, granted, you haven't had a goddamn Kit Kat when we've had them in the studio, but we have piles of them, man. But now I see where your love for Kit Kats come from, Rob.
I'll send Thomas down to come and pick them up. He's the Kit Kat. The Kit Kat King or the Kit Kat Queen, one of the two.
Now,
Rob, they both work.
Rob, I've had a chance to dive into this thing, and when we read books as people, when they're autobiographies or biographies, regardless, we hear that person talking. And the first 2 or 3 chapters, I just hear this young lad talking about going through puberty and wanking and handy. Is there going to be an audio version of this?
Oh,
Rob
yeah.
Halford?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, there's an audio book that I did sometime in July, I think it was. Was it? Yeah, sometime in July at a great studio, Premier Studios on Indian School. Mm-hmm. And I was in there for about a week. And did 2 or 3 hours a day because it's like making a record to some extent, especially with me and my voice, because you know how this thing has a tendency to do its own whatever. But I had a wonderful time speaking out the book because it's a whole different emotional experience compared to when you're reading a book, you know. So for me, some of those moments were quite difficult. You know, you have to compose yourself, especially some of those more challenging parts of my life that I went through. But the book is there, and it's great to see so many of my fans getting into the book. You know, either way, whether you're a truck driver and you're listening to Halford on the book, or whether you're a mum at home, you know, or whether anybody, any concept of how you want to take a book and listen to the voice, because it is my voice. The headline Hachette said we could get a voice actor in, but we prefer it if you used your voice. So, you know me, guys, I don't like to talk. You know, I mean, I'm very low key. Not much of a lip flapper. But I loved it. I loved it because it's really carrying this essence of truth and honesty that is really at the heart of the book. So the conviction and the empathy and the connection, I think, is stronger when you hear my voice on the audio. Not to disrespect all these great voice actors that do incredible work, but I think that because it's called Confess, it needs to come from this head.
Yeah. Okay, so then tell me, in those emotional parts or in those more difficult parts that you were reading, why would you need to compose yourself? Why not just be raw with it?
Oh yeah, I agree. That's a very valid point. I think that the texture and the emotions should be real, and I think they are very pure. Actually, guys, I haven't even heard the audio.
What?
I haven't listened to it. I finally got somebody. The Hachette sent me a box of books last week, I think it was, or the week before. I was the last person to get the book. It's like a record. You're the last person to get an album. But and I haven't even read the book because I am the book. I am the metal god, and I am the book. So
you read it when you voiced it.
Yeah, I did. And that was really when a lot of the things started to hit home, you know, because these wonderful conversations that I had with my confessor, Ian Gittins, he was really able to kind of get inside my body. He became me in that respect, the way that he conveyed everything about my personality onto the pages. So I went through that experience, and then seeing the manuscripts of the chapters coming through on email, reading it and cross-checking and, you know, I's and T's and all that stuff. But to actually read out the book was probably the most complete experience for me. So I think that voice connection, because we can, you know, that's how we connect, was probably the most powerful part of the whole experience.
But you think about that though, Rob, when you talk about the entire experience, when you're reading that book, and you talked about maybe a few breaths that you had to take, again, those first 2 or 3 chapters that I'm just engulfed in you talking, and I didn't know that there was an audio book of this. When you're going through those tough times, whether it's the relationship with your father or KK Downing, are these the instances where you have to take a step back when you were reading, or at least looking through the manuscript for the book?
Yeah, I think that you know how you'll be talking about something, and it's still kind of deeply embedded in your psychosis, in your head, and then you bring it up, and you know there's a catch in your voice, and you have to take a breath and all that kind of stuff. I love that. That's humanity. That's being in touch with your emotional self. It's very important to be able to go to that place. And so it was really only probably the family moments, talking about members of my family, especially my mum and dad that are in a different place, and other relatives. But I think particularly the bit where Brad took his life, that was, you know, to have read the manuscript but now to actually speak it out. I was literally reliving the moment, because when we lose anybody to suicide, which is a horrible, horrible thing, that lives with us for the rest of our lives. You can't hide it. You shouldn't hide it, because that's when the whole issue of mental health comes into play. So when I came to that part in the audio, that was particularly powerful. It's like being, you know, smacked around like a punch from Tyson as you're reading it, and then suddenly the whole thing comes crashing into your head in a microsecond. And as tough as it was, I'm glad that I still have the capacity and the empathy to understand how valuable that feeling still is and has to be with me, all the time.
Do you ever, this emotion from your entire life that is out in these pages of this book, did you ever feel that way on stage at any point, in which you're having, stage is for fun, stage is for being bigger than big, but did you ever sometimes, I know you mentioned that it was sometimes hard when you came off stage to feel your life that you're living is not what you're portraying on stage for your fans, but were there other emotional aspects on or off stage throughout your early career?
What a great question. That's a great question. Gold star.
Bam!
Crash. Gold star to Crash. You'll get one in a minute, Kenny. I get it now, even when I'm singing No Surrender, Glenn's song, from Firepower. I'll be singing that song, and sometimes it'll be difficult because I'm seeing and hearing Glenn while that song is going on, And also, for example, a song like Beyond the Realms of Death, which is a pretty strong, potent message of a song, and that's tough when you're singing. You have to really find a way to get through that particular bang in the emotion. But yeah, and again, I'm so blessed that I don't cover that up. I don't pretend it's not happening. It's real, and all of that reality and all of that truth and honesty is flowing out of the book Confess.
Rob Halford, the book Confess, out on Hatchet Books. And Rob, you're a few years older than me. It just seems like yesterday we were celebrating your 65th birthday in the studio. But how did you remember all of this stuff? Was it your co-writer? Was there a magic pill for you to go back and remember names and sayings and words and comments and feelings of a teenager into your 20s?
It's remarkable. I will say that again, Ian is a master at that, because we didn't go daily, but we had about 40, 50 hours of one-on-one conversations here in Phoenix and also back in Walsall in the UK. So we didn't go like from the 1950s timeline sequence chronologically to where we are now. And I think that really helped me. Some days we're in the 70s, some days we're back in the 50s, some days we're in the year 2005. We went all over the place. I think that's just a skill he has. I think it would have been a bit more difficult if we went from that, year to year type of events. But I also have to shout out to my sister Sue and my brother Nigel and my manager Jane Andrews and Ian Hill, all of these beautiful people in my life. When I couldn't quite remember a certain thing, there was a great resource of research there to help us put all the dots, because I'm absolutely fanatical for getting it right, and so it was a great team effort. Like sports, like we've always said, the great things that happen in sports, like happened just a few hours ago with LeBron. That was a pure team effort. That was such a beautiful thing to watch, and to see the power and the intensity and the determination. The result was a massive win, and that's what this book is about in that professional sense.
Rob, how many times did you wake up in the middle of the night and call Ian or call Jane and say, I need help with this, or I just thought of this, or was it just your little handy notebook on the side by your nightstand?
Yes, I have this phone with the voice memo.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I told you about that, and when I do my songs, like and it's the same with this. I'll be like 5 o'clock in the morning. Oh my God, I've just thought about so and so. So I pick up the phone and I say something into the voice memo, and I go, now I can go back to sleep. And then I play it back the next day, and it's like, I was just talking about it. What the hell was that? It's a nightmare. Some of it was very typical. Yeah.
That's Rob, me. We'd be hoarse voice. We'd just be, what did I say? It's awesome though.
It's like Rob, when I go to Fry's. If I don't write down get some milk, I forget the milk. It's just crazy.
Oh, but Rob, were there instances that you recalled that memory, and once you started to write about it or talk it, speak it, that it really, the wave hit you and this wealth of information came out? Was there a specific instance in this book that's like, holy crap, there is so much there that I just don't know if there's enough room on the pages?
Yeah. In fact, guys, we were going for like over 400,000 words. We were just, because that's me, blah 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 blah, you know. And we had to do a tremendous amount of editing, and we've got an enormous amount of material left over, which I guess we'll do something with it eventually.
Confess to
further confessions or something. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, again, just speaking the audio, I mean, it's like I've said before, but for the grace of God go I. You know, in some of those instances, it is like you're looking from the outside in, like, who is this guy? You know, how did that happen, or why did that happen? What were the circumstances? So it's also valuable to keep learning about yourself. I think it's a really good thing to keep reflecting about where you are in life, what you're doing, what your plans are. All of these things, I think, are important in the respect of just being in touch, just being aware.
You talk about being in touch. It brings me to the story of, I think it was 1981, when a fan asked you about one of your songs and if it was about a New York gay nightclub, and you just instantly hit it off with this guy. That to me is just, I mean, that just shows your reality. I mean, that just shows you how genuine you are. Not a lot of people would just hit it off with a fan. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and again, you know, there are a few naughty moments in the book.
So what?
Yeah, but I think look, that side of us as people, that's who we are. That's what life is about, and so I thought that those particular chapters, those revelations, whatever you want to call them, were also important because it's part of my makeup. It's part of the person that I am, and in some of those instances, there were you know, some very serious complications that came from them, including, you know, breaking the law and you know, the whole thing of STDs and stuff when I caught hepatitis from an event. So, but all of these things, I think that it's like connecting the dots. It helps it all make sense. It helps you find out more about a person and the way that they've turned out to be who they are.
You know, whether it's alcohol or, like you just said, an STD or something that happened, maybe going to jail, breaking the law. People, I mean, I have no perfect past by any stretch. I don't think anybody does. But people sometimes ask me, do you regret anything? And I told somebody the other day, no, I don't regret a thing, because if I didn't make some of those mistakes, I wouldn't be where I am now. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Oh my God, thank you so much for saying that, because I feel like I've been the only one, because people go, any regrets? And I go, well, first of all, I've never really liked the word regret. I think it's too hard and cold and doesn't have any kind of empathy. I prefer to use the reflect. You're reflecting on your past, you know.
Ooh, I like that.
Because you shouldn't beat yourself up for some of the poor choices you've made, either of your own choice or through the circumstances of another person. You know, there are some things that where you are directly at fault, and you pay your dues, and I always believe in second chances. I think that's very important in life. But yeah, I think that you reflect and you go, I'm never going to do that again, or that was dumb, you know, that was dumb, officer. I'm a jackass. So yeah, all of this that we carry with us as we grow older in life, I think that's tremendous value, definitely.
Cool.
Rob, you look at where this book is. It came out the end of September, so it hasn't had a whole lot of time to marinate. Have there been people that have either mentioned by name or by a made-up name in this book that have said, Rob, you got that all wrong, or they wanted to kick your ass because you said something, or again, your enemies, have they come at you and said, dude, that's wrong? It's
another great question. I love this show for the, you know, the way that the way you grill us.
Wait, is that his gold star?
He hasn't, I think we'll give Kenny half a gold star.
Yeah.
So
Right.
here's the thing about that. I think that if you are writing a book that contains so much honesty and truth, then that's the way you have to do that. Elsa, let it go. You've got to. Wow. You've really got to get into that channel and just let it go out there. Because if you start to think, oh, I can't put that in because so-and-so will be offended. I can't put that in because I'm going to lose a friend. Well, these things happen to me. They're real, they're real. And then if you start doing all this second guessing, then you're doing what I've been told that I tell myself every day in my sobriety. You've got to think about where your heart is in the present moment of living. And that is living your life for yourself and not making changes and not doing, I can't do this because this person will be offended. I can't do that because that person might want to kick my ass. Well, so what? I know that might sound cold and brutal, but this is my life. This is my life. These are my experiences. I'm telling you the truth, and how you interpret that and analyze it and opinionate it or, emotionally deal with it. I've got no control over that. It's there for you. It's there for you to take it. You can buy the book and be ready to be taken on an emotional roller coaster ride, or pick it up and go, and throw it away. It's entirely up to you.
But see, that's a lesson for everybody today. I mean, people want to be so judgmental, and you don't agree with what I agree with, so you're not my friend anymore. And I mean, whoa, what you just said right there, wake up, people. We just need to be more honest and more understanding of each other. We don't have to always agree. We don't have to always live the same. We still have hearts and we bleed red, and we're still united in that way.
Second gold star for Crash.
Jesus Christ. Man.
Come on, Kenny. It's true.
I'm wearing the lid, Rob.
I know, dude. I know. I'm going to give you a complimentary one now. So you've got two gold stars, and now we have balance and harmony.
All right, there we go.
Look, I won't even get started about what's going on in this beautiful country.
Right.
I love debate. I love people that are passionate and believe in something. And I have these debates with a lot of my friends, but we still respect each other.
Yes.
We still love each other. We still go, I don't particularly agree with you on that, but that's it. That you leave it at that. You don't make a war about it. You find a way of empathy and understanding and a simple difference of opinion.
Rob, let's do a little visual word, not a word association, but what you were feeling. Here's some video for you. Judas Priest, 1980, in store in Dallas. That's me with the camera. There you are, KK behind you, Glenn, and then of course there's Ian. This is May of 1980.
That's just unbelievable. That is so great. I love pictures. I love photographs because they carry so much instantly. You're reliving a moment, and there's nothing involved other than your eyes and the way that your brain perceives it. It's like a picture of a great sport moment. That great picture of Michael Jordan, the Air Jordan thing, where he's going through the air and he's putting it in the hoop and his legs are splayed out and he's just doing it. That image is just incredibly powerful. And so it's the same with those wonderful pictures that you've just shown, Kenny. Priest has an amazing book coming out. It's literally the 50 years of this band in purely in photographs. There's nothing else. It's just photographs, and that is just oh man. You look at those pictures from the very, very, very early days to where we are now, and it's just it's that life your life is flashing before your eyes as you turn the page. If you go to any of the Judas Priest socials, or Facebooks and Instagrams or whatever, you can find a connection to this great book that we have coming out.
Do you recall or do you recall 1980 or what? 7 or 8 years before you came out as gay. Do you think 1980, that was the year that this happened, that I got sober or I was lit up half that year?
It's yeah, some of it's a little bit murky, some of it's a little bit like, oh, what, you know, what did there, well, who you, but yeah, it is remarkable, particularly through that end phase where I was about to hit rock bottom, how I still have some pretty vivid, lucid memories. Unfortunately, that they are kind of connected to some trauma, some emotional trauma, which just goes to show you that no matter how much you try and fill yourself up to escape things that you're trying to deal with, because a lot of that stuff, it's a crutch, guys. It's a crutch. If you have a problem and go, I think I'll have a drink, I'll just knock that. This is water.
Right.
And then you sit back and you get a bit of a buzz, and then you go, well, but the problem is still there. You know, the issue is still there. You know. So it doesn't matter how many of those slugs you have, how many pills you pop or whatever, you're not dealing with what you need to deal with. And that's where I was going towards those latter days before I went into rehab at JC Lincoln up the road. So yeah, the some of it is a little bit blurry, but again, I'm just grateful that with Ian's direction, we were able to cover those spots.
How deep did you get into that crossing point in your life of having the party lifestyle into becoming sober? How deep did you get into the struggle? Because I know that's a struggle for pretty much everyone.
I'm just really grateful that it didn't turn out as difficult as I know it is for some of my fellow people that are in recovery. There are some people that literally have to go to a meeting every day or 2 or 3 times a day because the battle that they're dealing with, the disease of alcoholism and drug addiction, is so incredibly powerful that I'm blessed. I'm blessed. I've said before, guys, that there's something else is involved here with me. It's like my friend Alice Cooper. He and I never went to a meeting when we became clean and sober. And we don't know why. We class it as a miracle to a great extent, which it is. And so the 30 days of recovery, and then moving a little bit further ahead to that first show, which I've talked about on you guys' show, Freak Show, that first show at the Tingley Coliseum in Albuquerque, New Mexico, when I go on stage for the first time ever without a few drinks under my belt, and I experience the power of music in its purest sense, you know, with no chemicals and no booze, nothing inside of me, really connecting, probably for the first time in my life as an adult, in my music, you know, especially in the live performance. And that was another game changer for me. From that point on, my connection to music has been just so incredibly strong for me and has never changed.
That instance when the 2 fans committed suicide, when you had to tell that story again, Rob, in print or again with audiobook, was that another one of those guttural punches of you having to tell that story of those 2 young kids committing suicide, saying they heard Rob Halford saying, do it, do it, do it?
Absolutely, yeah. And again, I'm happy to talk about this forever and ever and ever because of the memory that I think we're giving to those 2 beautiful guys. It is important to remember people that we lose no matter what the circumstances are. It's a beautiful thing to do, to remember the ones that we love, that we lose. But yes, you have to keep sending out the story because of what makes the story. You know, the story of these 2 beautiful boys that were massive Priest metal maniacs. They loved Priest. We were their refuge. We were the place that they went to for the great power that music can give you in a healing sense, as well as pleasure and enjoyment. So there was that part of it. And then, much like myself, there was the terrible confusion and disconnect created by overindulging in booze and drugs. You know, and then you throw on top of that an unfortunate family domestic thing that was going on. So those poor guys had it coming at them from all points, you know. And so in the book, it's important to convey that message as much as some of the other stronger and more powerful moments, because it creates this. We're talking about it. We're talking about it. I'm not unique in some of these things that have happened to me. Everybody's lost somebody through whatever circumstance. So there's the empathy in that particular moment. But it's some of these more extreme moments as well that I think it's vital, you know, because it opens up the whole area of discussion. It was Mental Health Awareness Day a couple of days ago. It was coming out day yesterday, I think. And I think
awesome.
It's just valuable. It has so much value. Even just to go, oh yeah, it's coming out day today, great, you know, love to everybody. Then just glossing over it, you know, these little marks on the calendar, whether it's a birthday or somebody that's passed, they're all really important for us to utilize, because we get so much out of that kind of memory and recognition.
You know, in bringing up the story of those two boys, I just remember the 80s as being a time when, I don't know if it was media driven, I don't know if it was a mom group driven, but people wanted to force hate so much on heavy metal. And that story is one of the reasons why. And it's like, again, I go back to, why can't we just listen to each other and understand each other? I'm glad that we're not seeing those kinds of stories now. You know, hate this music, it's so bad, it's such a bad influence, blah, blah, blah. How did you deal with all that?
Well, in the Reno case, you know, these British guys had to go all the way to Reno, Nevada, and literally fight for our lives and fight for our music and fight for our fans and everybody else and fight for the memory of those boys just to get the story straight. So there was all that was going on. But I love the 80s. I loved it. It was so I was out of my tree. Listen, I got to say something about that. For a lot of the times, you know, I was having a great time. I have great memories, even though I was drinking and drugging. I had some of the best times in my life. I can't ignore that. It wasn't all sheer hell. I had some great times, great memories. I love what the 80s was for me as a person, for us as a band in Judas Priest, for the heavy metal scene as it was expanding and growing, particularly here in America and globally. So all of these were incredibly powerful and potent times to go through. But yeah, you know, reflection, it's great. You know, brings back good stuff.
Rob, here's some more reflection for you. This was 1987, the Granada Theater, as you came in town to debut Priest Live, the video. Oh, yeah. Look at those sassy bastards. Oh, my God. What are we wearing, Rob?
Cool.
What are you guys wearing?
Well, I tell you who we look like there. Shall I tell you who we look like there? Miami Vice.
You do?
Yeah.
Miami Vice.
We do, right? We should.
Kenny looks like Don Johnson, doesn't he? He's got the Miami tan. He's got the Miami tan
You
going
did
on.
have a tan.
And look, put that picture up again. And he's got the shoulder pads. He's got the big, like Don Johnson shoulder pads. Look at those shoulder pads. They're amazing. They're amazing. That's a great picture.
Do you? And again, I don't. It's strange doing book interviews because you don't want to give away too much of the book because you won't be able to buy the damn thing. But you go to some of the stories in the book from the video, the live album. Part of that was taped in Dallas in 1986. I was there for that. Do you recall anything from Priest Live taping that stands out, whether it was the video release or the release of Priest Live?
Yeah, it was a special day. We had great times in Texas, and so many. All of our dates through America have incredible importance to us. Wayne Isham and the other guy who I always forget, but we'd planned for weeks and months in advance to get this date to happen, and it just so happened to be in Dallas, and that's another great show, especially the crowd shots. You know, because again, you know, it's just a microcosm of how we looked and how we reacted and you see the band in a really exclusive period of how we presented ourselves visually through the Turbo years, you know, and then the very Spinal Tap-esque robot that picks me up and like waves me around to the crowd, and God, please don't let it break down tonight. You know, I don't want to be stuck up here for the entire show. All of that is a great memory. We're very choosy in Priest where we do these kinds of experiences. There hasn't been an enormous amount of live DVDs or live records. We don't just bang these things out for the hell of it. You know, they have to have a purpose. And that Fuel for Life tour, as it was called, I believe, and that show from Dallas is extraordinary, and it's extremely important in the long life of this band. Why
Dallas? If you guys are choosy, why Dallas? Why not New York or LA or?
Oh, okay. Let me walk that back. It could have been everywhere. It could have been anywhere. You know, we were on a great. That was one of the most successful tours of the time for Priest. I mean, it was just incredible. Night after night was insane. All these potentially at the end of the tour, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of metal maniacs had seen us. It was just the sequence of the way the tour was going, and the availability of Wayne and his excellent camera crew and all of those other, the technical aspects of preparing for something like that. It happened to be in Dallas, and it's great just because, you know, I mean, as a place, Dallas means a lot to me on various levels. I would sneak into a lot of the gay bars in Dallas as much as I could sneak in those days. Had some great times there, and of course our beloved friendship with Dimebag and Vinny, all the rest of the guys. You know, whenever we go back to that part of the world, there's a really cool set of emotions going through your head. But everywhere, you know, no matter where this band goes, particularly in the United States, there's just a strong memory connection, no matter where, from New York to Seattle down to San Diego and over to Miami and everything in between. There's a connection.
Rob, do you find, and these are repetitive questions, and again, for those who are just seeing this for the first time or hearing it for the first time, do you find that Phoenix was the right choice for you, given the fact how the state, when you moved here, brother, I mean, it was the Joe Arpaia era, and very, very conservative, and now it's starting to turn purple and may turn blue for the election. Do you find that Phoenix was the right choice for you, for the evolution of Rob as a person?
Yeah, I think so, because I know what you mean, Kenny, and I understand the concept of your question, but that extraordinary feeling that we get, no matter where we might go in the world, it might just be going up to Flagstaff for the first time in your life, and you go, "Oh, this is just amazing," you know. But for me, this kid from Walsall, from the difference between Walsall and Phoenix is like here and Mars, you know. I can't explain it, but
it's as hot as Mars here.
God, what a summer! What a summer! I mean, you know, I'm a vampire as it is, but God, I have to really I'd go back in the closet to get some cold and cool air. So no, I know what you're saying, Kenny, and I just that magic, that feeling that I get when I come into Sky Harbor, my trips around the world, or, you know, taking a break, whatever, it's never left me. You know, every day I wake up and look through my bedroom window, and there's Camelback, and it's just so profound, and I'll never lose that feeling. You know, if I was going to lose it, I would have lost it by now. You know, look at my big giant horns up cactus by the swimming pool, and the beautiful view across the entire valley. You know, because where I am, I can literally look from here to South Mountain, and the entire valley from Camelback over to way past Glendale. I can see the lot. I can see the whole valley. You know, and that's just a blessing right there. And so, you know, I'm just grateful that I've had this this opportunity to spend so many glorious years in the valley of the excruciating, burning, welding, peel your skin off your face sun.
Hottest summer on record. Woo! Yeah. Way to go, 2020.
This is the epitome of your favorite, the funeral pyre, isn't it? Phoenix in the heat.
It certainly is. It certainly is. But I am a phoenix because I rise up. I rise up from whatever little things life throws at me. Well, F you, I'm going to rise back up again. I think it's so important in life that if you can, and you get a knock as we call it in the UK, if you get the knocks in life, that you get back on your feet and you battle on, do what you need to do.
Rob, I know we don't have a whole lot of time left in this, but a couple of things that I'd like to hit, if you don't mind. One is you're scheduled to play Phoenix October 9th in 2021, Saturday night.
Oh, okay.
That will be my 60th birthday, Broham.
Wow. Well, this is going to be great because I've had one birthday with Kenny and Crash in your studio, and now I'm going to drag you on stage. I'm going to find you. I'm going to find one of my well-worn, used leather jocks. I'm going to put you in one of my little leather-studded jocks with a pair of cowboy boots and a biker cap. I'm going to drag you out, and we're going to sing "Breaking the Law" together.
Yes, and then whip him. Come on.
And then give him a good thrashing. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. That's that one. Yeah.
Look at that, Rob. Look at that artwork back there. Can you see that?
Yes.
Those are going for like $200 on eBay.
No,
What?
don't you dare.
Put that in
no.
hide that. It's amazing. I was down Melrose Avenue a few years ago,
Right.
in Hollywood, and I'm mooching through the stuff, and they have these vintage shops, and I see these Judas Priest Screaming for Vengeance original T-shirts going for like $500.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, that's
It's crazy.
amazing.
And that's because people like the Kardashians would put on, oh, that looks pretty, I'll put that on, and it's your shirt, and it becomes kind of exclusive in that way. And Thomas and I I keep plugging Fry's. We were doing our shopping down at Fry's before the pandemic, and they don't give me a pay. I'm not paid for saying that word. But we came outside, and there was a couple of guys walking past us, and they had Molly Hatchet shirts on.
Oh yes.
And it was clear that they probably weren't Molly Hatchet fans. I'm probably being ridiculous. Probably being ridiculous. But it's the visuals. It's the visuals. In Priest, we've always taken care of the art and the visuals that we represent the band with. That's why we're so finite and like mad professors when we're doing every aspect of Priest, including the merchandise. And so that particular one that you've shown, and also the Killing Machine Hell Bent for Leather album, it just passed its 46th birthday, 46th anniversary or 42nd anniversary. It's just nuts. My fans put pictures up on my socials, and they go, "Happy birthday, blah blah." And they go, "God, 40 years has gone by since we made that record." It's like, there's another one. Oh yeah.
Look at those sexy bastards.
Hairy heavy metal days. Yeah. I love it.
And here was my very first Judas. I'm going fanboy. Give me a damn break, will you?
You are going fanboy.
Look at this. This is my very first Judas Priest poster. Do you remember?
Wow.
Look at this, bro.
Wow.
I remember that photo shoot. Yeah. Something as simple as just crossing the guitars like that.
Yes.
It's probably me who came up with that idea. Let's cross the guitars, and it just became a little iconic moment. If you look at Priest, particularly in this great photo book, there's so many of those simple ideas that you have that become a part of the legacy of who you are and what you've achieved. So great stuff. Really cool.
Well, Rob, damn pandemic. Would love to have done this in the
Yeah.
studio, buddy. There it is. Jane got me an advance copy, and it's a beautiful book, man. It's incredible. Is it on Audible? Do we know?
Yeah,
Soon.
it's yeah. The audiobook is out. The audiobook
Okay.
is out. Did you say audible or did you say edible?
Yeah. No, we go this.
I've heard about these. I've heard about these things called edibles. I know what edibles are about. I've never had one. Actually, that's a cool idea. I should have had edible flavored books called Confess, and then you could lick the page and read a chapter. You know, or it's each page you finish, you tear the page out and you eat it and you float off. You know, that's probably going to be the next big. That's going to be the next big thing. Edible book edibles by the metal god. Yeah.
Yeah, but there you go.
And we lost a good one last week in Eddie Van Halen, Rob.
Yeah, it's horrible, absolutely horrible. I think we all knew how this great man was fighting so hard with his condition, and I think internally quite a few of us were aware of the difficulties that he was going dealing with as he moved on in his life. But again, what a gracious way to leave this world the way that he did, and do it so strongly. And what I mean by that is that when he passed, the world knew it was world-shattering news, as it should be, which really emphasized his greatness as a musician, primarily as a guitar player, who was a game changer. Because I'll quickly tell you the story. The first time I ever heard Eddie Van Halen was one of our first managers of the band, this great character called Dave Cork that's in the book Confess. He came to my house I think he was 79, the first Van Halen album, and he comes banging in the door. Dude, you got to come and listen to this band. I've got a cassette play in my car because I didn't have a cassette player at home. So we sat in his car. It's like 2 a.m, and we listened to this Van Halen album, and the Eruption thing and all this other stuff was going on, and we're just sitting there mesmerized by this band, but particularly the guitarmanship. And we played that thing 2 or 3 times, and we realized there that this was going to be one of those game changers in rock and roll, as Van Halen proceeded to do. So then you fast forward a few more days, and we have this great thrill of being special guests for them at the Santa Monica Civic, and doing our gig, and then going out in the crowd and watching Van Halen and watching Eddie do his thing and do his little solo section, just playing for 20 minutes. You couldn't take your eyes off him. What he was doing was and still is extraordinary. So, guys, much like we've lost all of our other beautiful friends, Lemmy, Chris, Ronnie, you celebrate them. You celebrate. You feel sad, but you celebrate them. There she is. Hello, sweetheart. There she is. You celebrate. It's a beautiful thing. Yep. So, EVH lives forever.
Right, isn't that the truth, man? Rob, it's special, buddy. This book is awesome. I can't wait to hear you tell me.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to go for.
Right.
Get the audio and then get the edible. Yeah.
Rob Halford's Confess, Hatchet Books, out now. Robert, thank you very much. Hopefully next time we'll be in the studio, buddy.
We absolutely will. Love you guys.
Yes.
You stay safe. Stay safe. Stay
Horns
hard,
up,
stay
Henley.
metal.
Horns up.
Horns
Show
up.
him the shirt.
You do one that way and that way.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
I don't want to be famous like my dad. Yes, you do. You will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks,
Thank
Crash.
you so much.
I love you guys. Be safe.
Yes,
Bye.
you too. Stay healthy. Stay safe.
All right. Okay. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.